We are diving into Dead City Season 2, Episode 5. Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Hi, Sam. How are you?
Hi, Diana. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just to let everyone know, we are doing audio only this week because Sam is mending from her knee surgery. So, Sam, well wishes to you with your knee. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you could make it today to talk with me.
Honestly, it's one of the things I've been looking forward to. I have my knee operated on, so I'll be up for 5 to 6 weeks. So plenty of TV and movies for me to watch.
Yeah, we'll talk about that this week and in the coming weeks. So, all right. I also wanted to give a listener shout out. We had a loyal listener call in and answer a couple of our past question of the day. So I want to give her answers. And also she had a theory/question for us that we're going to talk about. So first, one of our previous question of the day was, what Central Park animal would you want to encounter or see? And she said a penguin, which I love because I'm such a penguin fan. So I'm not sure why I didn't bring that up.
I feel like penguins they're way bigger than you think, and I think it'd be very cool to pet one.
I know. Pet one? I wonder if they would let you. I don't know if they'd let you.
Probably not. We went to a wedding once at the aviary here in Pittsburgh, and they let you pick a bird. There's probably 5 of them you could pick from to attend the wedding. And my friends picked a penguin, and it's terrifying. Their throats are all gnarled. They're just they have little teeth and stuff.
Oof.
It's terrifying.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I just imagine a zombie penguin.
I know, exactly. But they are so cute and I love them. I love the way they look. So, yeah, exactly. All right. And the other one, what food would you miss in the apocalypse? And they said, they brought up coffee because we had talked about coffee also. But then they thought, well, you might be able to get coffee somehow. But the big one is McDonald's big breakfast when they get it. They truly enjoy it. They would miss it. I haven't had it personally.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Well, I looked and I think it's you get the hot cakes and you get sausage, and I think it encompasses a few things. So they really enjoyed that. They would miss any fast food as a lot of people would. So I thank you for those answers. They also shared this theory, and I wanted to share it with you, Sam, and what you thought about it. And you and I had talked about Maggie coming to the bricks. Why would she leave her community and not go back where it seemed much more plush in this apocalyptic dystopian world? But I'm going to tell you what their thought was, but let me just give you a little bit of the timeline. Dead City is 6 years after The Walking Dead ended. Okay, so it's 6 years after that. Daryl Dixon is about half a year after The Walking Dead ended. And The Ones Who Live is set approximately during the same time as the ending of The Walking Dead, which would mean Rick and Michonne were back before Maggie possibly took off. So, in saying all that timeline, they were thinking Maggie left the Hilltop. Why? Is this after Rick and Michonne's return, which we think it probably is? Maybe she didn't vibe with the direction things were going. That's why she ended up at the bricks, even though it doesn't seem quite like her place. Let me go ahead and have you answer what you think about all of that.
I don't think I realized that the show's taking place 6 years after The Walking Dead has ended. I'm sure it said that somewhere.
I didn't recall that either.
Yeah.
Specifically.
I just really hope that that's not I think it's a great idea. It's a great possible thing. I just hope that's not true. I just hope Maggie isn't holding on to the grudge that she had with Rick. That was 10 years ago, probably. I don't know how long that's been. Like, she's ready to kill Rick, and so I'm hoping that there's more to it. Maybe she wanted to bring back Negan, and Rick was like, absolutely not. And then she was like, okay, I guess I'll go. But I don't know why she'd do that.
No, I think it would be opposite. Or not opposite,
Mhm.
but he was the one who allowed Negan to be there, and that's why she's mad. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the whole friction, right? And
Mhm.
the caller also talked about feeling like it was the bridge, that whole thing, like Rick and Daryl hadn't been in that scuffle, which all stemmed from
Maggie.
Maggie and Negan and all of, so everything happened the way it did.
Yeah.
Is
Makes
she
you
feeling a
embarrassed.
weight? Yeah, right. So they thought the same thing, right? It's like, it could be so many things. So I do want to say that I did find one thing that said Maggie told Negan they could no longer live there because he helped burn it down. So she says that about Hilltop.
Yeah.
So in saying that, he did burn it down with the whispers, but I believe they were rebuilding it again when we saw that year after it ended, how they give a reflection of what has happened.
Mhm.
But maybe she means burn down more of, not literally, even though yes, metaphorically,
Yeah.
because she still has this thing going on with Negan. And so maybe it's a constant reminder for her and she doesn't want to be there. Maybe that it is that friction that she had not. And I don't feel that she probably still has that with Rick and Michonne. I hope that she has mended it. She's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're back. And now we can make amends and move forward. I feel it's more the relationship she had with Negan and trying to get over or get through that grief. Also, Maggie is an explorer, a bit like Daryl is, right? So Daryl's off doing his thing too. And Maggie has left before,
Mhm.
trying to help other communities and figure things out. So maybe Maggie's just like, you know what, I need a fresh start for my son and let's go here. And I did gather that some people from Hilltop probably came with her to the bricks. So it's not like this is a completely new community like I think we were thinking possibly, but that has some people that she knows. We just haven't seen them per se, but
I also wonder too if maybe so we don't really know when she left the Commonwealth.
the
Well,
Hilltop.
so maybe Hilltop. So maybe then the Commonwealth was coming in to be dicks or jerks or whatever, and then her and Herschel got out, and that's why they left.
Well, I would
don't
hope
know.
not, because Ezekiel's the leader there, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's all good. To me, okay, wait, I have to, The Walking Dead, the whole universe, they all have to be in good. They're all doing good.
Yeah.
I think it's either that she had to escape, that this is all where Negan stuff happened and I just need to get out of here and get a fresh start. And maybe Negan was, I don't know when he exactly left either. So did he leave before her? Did he leave after her? That may play a part in it, but also I think it's just that she needs to go and explore because that's part of her nature. And she wanted a new start for her and Herschel. Especially with that statement that she gave. He burned it all down, so we had to leave. So she's like, too many memories there.
But I feel like Rick and Michonne would be understanding.
Yeah.
I feel like if they could repair those bridges. So maybe at the end of this, there'll be a big reunion.
I know.
That'd be nice.
So I would
Yeah.
love that. That would be so amazing. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right. So hopefully we've addressed this. I like that we had this conversation. Thank you, listener, for giving us your thoughts and your theories and your answers to our question of the day. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. And maybe you can answer this next question of the day, which is, our current question of the day is, who would you least want to be stuck with in an apocalypse? The Dama, the Croat, or Bruegel? We're going to think about that. We're going to give our answers at the end. But okay, so let's head into this episode. Oh my gosh, I was so happy we finally got the walkers that I wanted last episode. And man, This one, for me, came in swinging. There were so many deaths, near deaths, betrayals, and big reveals. Negan is scheming. Ginny has this twist. Perlie has a turning point. And Herschel, confession? Let's get into it. And I'd love to start with Negan's master move. Did you see that coming, Sam?
No.
Was it just genius? What did you think?
I didn't see it coming at all. I loved it. Not that the rat had to die. I feel like Negan could have just taken the rat and, let it go or something.
I thought about you on that part.
We'll watch humans get killed all day, but don't you dare touch that tiny little rat. I thought it was nice. I think but I don't Negan's doing it for himself, which obviously, he's Negan. He's not doing it for the Croat, but I feel like he is showing the Croat some kindness. I think he genuinely does think that the Dama treated him like garbage and he didn't like it. I don't really know why, because Negan did treat people like garbage, but he's a changed man, maybe. I don't know. But I think him being kind to the Croat will help him to gain more and more control of him and slowly manipulate him, just kind of how the Dama was, but she was being a jerk about it. But I also think he's going to watch the Croat really closely moving forward because of what he did to Christos and all of that, and that wasn't what the Dama said to do. Because the Croat has zero issue killing kids. We know that. To be honest, I did on first watch. I thought he killed all of Christos's people, and I was always killing kids. There he goes again. But I don't think he ended up.
He said he did. He told him, in the car. He says, "I spared the women and children." Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, and I didn't really I don't know. I think the Dama is being gone is good. I didn't really She was a great character, but I did not like her. She treated people like crap, and she didn't really add much to the situation, really. All she had to offer was her attitude. She wrangled people, but Negan's doing her dirty work. The Croat's the one with the methane. I'm glad she's gone.
Yeah, so it was so funny because you and I had talked about, what does the Dama have that everybody's following her and just doing what she's saying? Why? I'm surprised the Croat didn't come up with it himself about overthrowing her.
Mm-hmm.
But he's such a follower, like you said, and probably
was grateful.
Also, she does know how to play people, just like the way she did with Herschel. And so I think she was probably doing that with him too. And she did save him at one point. So maybe he felt grateful to her for that and was looking up to her for that. And so that's why he was doing what she wanted. But we had inklings of what Negan was trying to do. But I, of course, really could tell when he was telling him on the stairs, he's look, you're the one who did everything with the methane, and you built her this empire, and she treats her rat better than you, and I got your back. Oh my gosh, when he said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, here it's going to go down, which it went masterfully. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it when Croat is yelling at her and she's shocked, and he talks about the rat, which is what Negan just told him and fed him and, ramped him up to have this moment. And so then the Croat yells at her and she's like, oh, you're too emotional. I can't talk to you right now. But then he goes back to talk to her, and then they have that confrontation. And then he just brings everything. Of course, she comes in, sees her rat is smushed and thinks he did it, and just they go off, and it's like, oh my God, Negan, you are genius. I loved it so much that Negan orchestrated all of this. I just thought it was so cool. And I think also Negan was super pissed at what the Croat did to Christos, because Negan really changed in that conversation that he had with him when he found out Christos' true motivation. Oh, the other thing I was thinking is when power turns on itself, because I really think the Dama fed into that. Because if she hadn't treated the Croat so bad, this would not have happened. I mean, she ruled through control, through fear and her ego, and she underestimated the monster she was helping to create. So I just think she belittled him way too much, and he's just like, I've had enough. And, so with this weapon, she developed this hunger in him Oh my God. And then she bit him.
I couldn't believe that.
That was hilarious. I'm like, oh my God, this is her signature move. She's biting the crow out.
Do you think they took the little historian out of the trunk? Or do you think he's still in the trunk?
Do you know what's funny? After I, was looking at this, I'm like, what happened to Benjamin? Where is
Benjamin,
he?
that's his name.
They didn't show him this episode. Where is he? In a jail cell, maybe.
Yeah, he's probably hanging out in the dungeons.
I know. Negan didn't see him there when he was pulling out the guts of the rat in his shoe. Oh my gosh, that moment was so good. All right. I want to talk about Maggie because she was a lot of stuff happened in Maggie's camp. She had a near hanging. Ginny made a turn that was like shocking, and then Herschel came clean about what he was feeling. So how did you feel during Maggie's hanging and all of that?
It was tense, but I wasn't really worried. Like, it's Maggie. She's like the leader of the show, and it's not like a mid-season finale, or it's not the finale of the, of the season. So I really wasn't that worried about it, which is kind of annoying, but there was still so much else going on in the scene that I really wasn't too focused on Maggie. Like, I was like, I hope she doesn't. I was just more worried about her like being in pain, I think, than her actually like dying. But
reminiscent of Handmaid's Tale, right?
Yes. And
I'm like, wait, what's
Last
with
of
these
Us
hanging women? Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
When they go to Scar Island.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. All these hangings. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. God.
And just Narvaez just gets on my nerves. And I feel like she rushed that. And I don't know. I think it should have been done at night, but she got hers, didn't she?
She did.
Narvaez. How did you feel about the Maggie stuff?
I agree that we knew Maggie was going to survive somehow, but it was still pretty intense because I wondered too. I'm like, oh my God, she's hanging. How, what's Herschel feeling? How's he going to get to her? I kept thinking, how are they going to get out of this? What's going to happen? So I liked that it was, not that Roxana got killed, but that it was through her hanging, which prompted her forager friends to do that moaning ceremony, which made the walkers come in. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what's going to happen, right? Hey, I'm getting my walkers. So at least that's happening.
Yeah.
So, but I want to say it was when Maggie did get in, when Ginny finally did make the right move. We'll go back to Ginny in a second, but I loved watching Maggie be the one to slay all these walkers. Do you know that she was the one that was doing all the fighting? Like, Narvaez had Herschel, and she was just like pushing him off, but it was Maggie doing all the. I'm like, Maggie, you're pretty badass at this.
She's really a badass. Good. I love her.
Yeah. So I did love seeing her, in that mode and being who she is and being able to do all that. It's like, oh yeah, you'd want to be with Maggie, in a moment like this because she's going to definitely fight. I was a little surprised that Narvaez. I was a little bit surprised that Roxana got her, couldn't have fought her off just a little bit more. But it was poetic, though. So poetic.
I know.
So what did you think about, because so much happened right before this, too. There's so many aspects. So Ginny, Herschel, what struck you? What do you want to dig into?
I was shocked that Ginny pulled the gun, because I thought her and Maggie were closer than that. And I didn't really see the connection between Narvaez and Ginny to where I thought, like, it would make sense for her to pull the gun on Maggie. I guess Ginny is still a teenager, and that's, like, a mom figure, so maybe. And there's that teenage, like, logic of, like, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? And it makes me sad that, like, Ginny and Maggie, like, they were forming a bond, right? Like at one point. And then the whole like Negan thing happened, and just makes me sad that like there's no longer like a connection there. And is she bit? Is that a pole injury? Like, I don't know. And that makes me nervous.
Yeah. It's funny, when I saw it, I was thinking, oh my gosh, she got bit. And my husband's all, no, she didn't. It was a pole. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's all, I specifically saw the pole. She backed up into it. So when I watched it again,
Oh, okay.
I saw when a walker came forward and she backed up and a pole, but I couldn't tell who the pole impaled. I thought it was the walker because I just heard a squish or like whatever noise.
Squelch.
Yeah. And I thought it was because there was this dark and, everybody's fight. That's when all chaos is breaking loose.
Yeah.
But it was her getting that
Okay.
side thing from the pole. But it's hard to tell when she's actually like looking at him like, wait, is that a bite? But they showed it for a reason. So something's
I think she's
going
to get
to
an
come of
infection.
it. I know. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm like, no, she's such a young person. I don't want her to. And then just kind of what would be her purpose if she just all of a sudden dies? I want more for her character in this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she also turned way too easily. I mean, she's been here with them for a whole year. She holds the gun on Herschel too, who's been a friend of hers. And I'm thinking, this just doesn't seem right. But you're right too, that she is young and maybe she's just doing it, not really to do it, not like she would really shoot them, but just like, you'll back off. But the fact that she exposed them, that was a hard part. I think that was even worse, right? Because when Maggie takes off, she's supposed to go find Negan and come back, and then she sneaks back in. Oh, I want to ask you this part because I really wasn't sure. When she comes and she opens the thing and she's trying to get Perlie out, and Perlie's like, hey, they're going to find you and Narvaez is going to hunt you down and kill you. And then she locks him back in there. And then he's like, Maggie. I'm like, that was so odd to me. Like, why did she do why was she going to let him out and then didn't let him out? I thought that was so bizarre.
Yeah, like maybe she thought he would like not help, not that he wouldn't help her, but he would be like distracting or like trying to convince her like not to do it and like flippy floppy, like still not like, I don't know. It did feel weird that she immediately like then closed it back on him.
Yeah, because if she had let them go, at least they would have been free, both of them. And Roxanne wouldn't have died. But of course, that's what they wanted. So then it makes me feel they shouldn't have even had her come back. Or they should have had her talk through a cell thing to him and then, not be able to help him and take off. I don't know. Something was a little off to me on that. I really wasn't sure what the meaning was there. But from there, she goes to get Herschel. And then that's when Ginny turns on her. And I was so irritated with Ginny.
I feel like her and Herschel have like a, like a sibling thing going on. So that might even be like playing into it. Like, now he hurt my feelings, so I'm going to do this. And I don't know. You have a gun, girl.
Yeah. But thankfully, she does realize it in the end. And then that's when she helps Maggie, stop being hung and is able to get her down and finally help them at that point. So now Herschel and Maggie have a lot going between them too, where he finally tells her how he, what the Dhamma meant to him, their conversations and all of that. What did you think of Herschel and Maggie?
I thought it was sweet. I thought it was like time for him to have that conversation with her, for him to realize that she's your mom, but she's not gonna she loves you, dude. Like, she knows what you've done and she's letting you tell her on your own. Like, it's just so nice. And I really hope that they can that he's, done with the Dom. Oh, well, she's dead, but I hope he's done with New York and, can get over just because then I worry about him and Negan and Maggie because it's weird.
Yeah, I really did appreciate these moments that they had together. And you're right that she allowed him to reveal what he needed to, and in his time. A lot of parents would have been all, I know what you did and I know what you this and that, just to spilled it out. But she, told him what she knew, but let him say it and how he felt. And she asked him, well, how did it make you feel? Does that have a hold on you? What are you feeling? Tell me. And so he did. And I loved that he told her when I set the fire, so, to alert them, I thought that we could go back together. And I thought that's exactly what we were thinking that he thought. And that made sense as a kid. You thought, oh, I'm going to do this, not really thinking everything through, but, oh, I'm going to do this and then we're going to go back and it's not going to impact us. And, this isn't going to happen. But he felt such guilt from the people that died. Like it really
Said
impacted
about the
him.
horrors of them like washing up on shore, like, honey, oh my God,
Yeah.
like my heart broke for him.
I'm glad that he said that, though. It just
Mhm.
showed
Oh, yeah.
that he hasn't gone to the dark side and he does have feelings and he has changed through this. So I really did appreciate those moments between those two. So what about Perlie? Because Perlie had moments here with Roxana in that cell that they were at. What did you think about his arrest? If there's anything else you want to say about Narvaez or even Roxana. And I also want to know, what does Perlie's arc say about justice versus obedience?
So I think, for one, I'm just glad that Perlie can adjust his views to the changing surroundings that he's currently in, or the changing environment, I guess. Because I feel like he starts out being like Mr. like, I'm going to follow the law. And then like shit goes south and he's like, wait a second. He listens to Maggie. And I just love that he takes in information and like readjusts himself, I guess. And he's not just focused on like one thing. However, I did not like in the preview him talking to Bruegel, I think, and I was like, I don't like that. That might take a Perlie back to the dark side of wanting to then get back into New York. I think talking to Roxana really like grounded him, because I feel like you get in this army, you're with Narvaez, you're with these people, and you get so caught up in stuff that you don't look at what's really going on around you. And I think she reminded him of that. He's playing with his ring, talking about his daughters, worrying about them, thinking about him, his wife, wanting to get home. And I think he thought this mission would be one thing and he'd be done and he could go back home in a week or whatever it was. And it's been way longer and people have died. And I think all of that really led him to like really start to think about like, is this justice what I'm doing? Or am I just being like obedient? Because I think Narvaez, like, she acts like she's upholding the law, like she's, doing all the justice stuff. And it's really just masked with her wanting to dominate. Power makes people do really, really strange things. And I think her killing Roxana was just more about getting rid of the dissent in the group that they were trying to control than any real concept of justice. Because if you would describe an unarmed woman saying, no, I don't want to fight in your army, dissent, but it wouldn't sit right with people.
Yeah. God, that was so quick to do. It's like, oh, you're not following us? Let's hang her. And then when she hangs her, she almost has like a smirk, like a smile, like, let me see what happens to you. Mm-hmm. Just like that initial hanging that we saw when they came to the bricks. So she just gets off on that. So she truly deserved her ending. With Perlie, I feel like, I was hoping, because I was going to say, you're right, with the next previews of the next episode, he's still on this mission to get that methane. But of course, he wants what's good for his family. But at the same time, I feel like he learned some things here, because he was this ultimate rule follower, just blindly loyal to this order. But I do feel those cracks are coming because he doesn't entirely agree with everything that Narvaez has done. And even Maggie tries to protect him in saying, oh, no, he killed Negan. I saw it. And then, of course, he just turns the tables there. I mean, not trying to expose her, but also saying, but no, she's our key. We need her because she can get to Negan and, it'll help our cause. So I do see where Perlie is starting to realize that obedience without morality can be very dangerous, and that justice has to include humanity. It's not just protocol and just all those things. And then he finds himself in the cell. So he's powerless the same way Maggie was powerless. So it doesn't really serve him. He really needs to look much broader than that. And I loved Roxana's role in here and the things that she taught him while they were there and talking about, the bird and just everything that they spoke about. Anyway, so I love watching their relationship in that cell. I think it was what Perlie needed to hear and have. So anyway, let's get to also Christos. There was a reveal there. And Croat's mass murder. So were you shocked by Christos' true identity?
Yeah, I honestly was. I thought there was something up with them whenever we had met them previously, but I just thought I don't know, they're really not jerks or something, which they aren't, but I didn't realize that they didn't have anything, and it made me really sad. And I think it was a nice way for the show to be don't judge a book by its cover. Because I thought, oh, he's just going to be another, follower. He's going to meet Negan. He's going to immediately, be under his thumb. And then when he was refusing, I thought, oh, he's just going to be a jerk and fight or do whatever for conflict. And then when the little kid ran out, I was like, oh my goodness, what do you mean? And I would have liked to get to know them a little bit better. I'm a little upset that the twist came and we didn't know anything about these people. And I don't think we're going to find out anything else. Maybe Bruegel will tell us a little bit more or something like that. But I also didn't catch on the first watch that they were killing them. I thought they were just knocking them out. That's the hopeful, optimism. Be no, they're not killing them. They're just going to put them in a cell.
You didn't see when they knocked him out and then they stabbed him with those.
So I'm going to tell you, it was after my surgery. Okay. The first watch, no. I didn't think that they were going to kill a Christos. Maybe just the people in the room.
Yeah.
And then as I watched it again, I was like, oh no, they're death killing those people. They ain't coming back.
That was, so for me, I did not know Christos' true identity. I did not see that coming at all. I thought he was a bad guy. And I was curious to see what kind of a bad guy, what it was, because he was coming up pretty tough to Negan about stating who he was. And then all of a sudden, when that kid came, he just totally changed. And of course, you see Negan's face totally changed too. He's all, oh my gosh, I can relate to you. I know what you're doing. I get it. And I think Negan really appreciated that. He thought, oh my gosh, someone else like me, someone who's trying to help, his community, his family, and he's putting up this front. And we've seen that happen in the Walking Dead universe before, people posing a certain way and really not being, the bad guy, but having to put up that front to save themselves. So
he's having to do it now. He's having to be partly Negan, and it doesn't really want to be.
Yeah. So, but it is a bummer we don't get to see more of him. I think the last thing I want to say about that was that Negan was definitely pissed at the Croat for what he did.
Oh yeah.
He was seething. I think he probably wanted to kill him himself. He's all, oh my God, I can't believe you just killed that man that was trying to help those people. And we also see the Croat just kind of reacting, because that's what he does. He just reacts without really thinking things through, which is what pissed off the Dama too, right? Because he just reacted without her knowing. All right, so let's get to our rapid fire. What fascinated you most?
I really want to know if the Croat put two and two together that Negan killed the rat and is the reason the Dama was I just wonder if he's aware of anything, or if he's just so just caught up in stuff. So I'd be curious to see how the Croat reacts if he one does figure out that's Negan who's pulling the strings. I don't know how he's going to feel about that. And I also wonder what Negan's going to do to the Croat, because he's not, he's clearly up to something. He knows the Croat's not a good dude. So I think, I'm just very curious. Yeah. I'm waiting to see.
So what fascinates me is Negan, the man himself, because just honestly, the way that he deals with the Croat, who is so unstable and so dangerous, and then he's also so quick to follow him. So I just think that dynamic is wild and it's fun to watch. So it just totally fascinates me, and I'm here for it. Okay. Who had the most interesting arc in this episode?
I think Roxana, if I'm honest. I really thought that she would give in because we've seen this trope before. They come to a group of people, the one person doesn't want to give in, and then they do because they don't want to die. And I really like that she was just like, no. I think her refusal to cooperate with Narvaez, even if it meant death, said a lot about her integrity and her willingness and her unwillingness to let to be corrupted by a system. I really like that, and I think it's sad that she's no longer in this world because we need more people like her and less people like Narvaez.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so to me, the interesting character arc was Herschel because this was a turning point for him. It was not action-packed, but to me, it was emotionally rich. I was bracing for a reveal that he was lost or dark, but instead it was clarity. And that just was so huge to me in a quiet way. And so I really, I'm grateful, I'm happy, and I just thought it was interesting. So what is your current theory on how this ends?
So I think it's going to end with Negan being on top of the Barazzi and all of New York. And I don't necessarily know becoming like a bad guy again, but I think it's going to cause conflict because reasons. Like I don't really know what those are yet, but I feel like I feel like it's going to be like a power struggle between Negan and maybe Bruegel.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to those two like interacting a lot more.
Yeah. So I think Christos was set up by Bruegel to keep him from aligning with the Croat, making it easier for Bruegel to go against what was the Dama, but now is the Croat. Because Christos really looked shocked when the Croat went in there and said, I know you did this and I found your weapon. And Christos was like, what the hell are you talking about? I have no idea. Unless he was just acting, but I don't think so. I think he was set up.
Maybe not by Bruegel, but maybe by someone else. What if it was Negan? Just causing chaos.
No, but it was a
there.
few. But it was a few people. It was people. It wasn't one person. If it was one person, I would think it was Negan. But it was a group of men. It was 3-4 men.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So
oh yeah.
I that's what I think at this point now. I didn't before. I thought it was Christos, but now I don't. So also the bear eats everyone but Maggie, Herschel, Negan, and Perlie, and maybe Ginny, but she may die of an infection.
That would make me giggle. I'm excited. We've never seen like The Walking Dead. They don't have zombie animals, do they?
I don't know if that it's a zombie. It's a bear that just probably got into their tunnels, right?
Maybe.
And it's just scary in itself. I'd be afraid of a bear.
Oh my gosh.
Right there. I mean, I'm freaked out. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it is.
Though.
All right. So let's get back to our question of the day, which is, who would you least want to be stuck with in an apocalypse? The Dama, Croat, or Bruegel?
I'm going with the Dama. I feel like even though she and I would love to talk about like theater and New York and things like that, I feel like she would just get on my nerves, and I don't know. I think it's her because I feel like the Croat, I could get him to do stuff. Bruegel, I think we just have a good time. I don't know what like that even looks like, just walking around New York. But the Dama, she's just kind of a jerk and is like a stick in the mud, I think.
This is hard because I went through the same thing that you did because I'm like, okay, the Dama. Yeah, she doesn't seem like a whole lot of fun, and she killed the artist. And so she's pretty cutthroat, if I can say that. But at the same time, she did nurture Herschel, and she was nice to the Croat at one time until she started bringing him down. And she does appreciate, some fine things. So I'm like, okay, that's her. Then the Croat, yeah, you could manipulate him possibly if you get on his good side. But man, he's been killing a lot of people. And the way he talks and talks and talks and talks, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I could take you. And then Bruegel, the bad thing that we saw about him is he killed his bodyguard, someone who had been and using him to win things. So I mean, that's not, so all of them have these bad, characteristics. So I'm like, I don't know, but I think out of all of them, I don't want to be around the Croat. Just hanging out, eating. I don't know. He's just not someone. But I would say if anybody picked any of these people, it would make sense to me.
Yes.
So, because, they all have their thing. All right, friends out there, what do you think? Who would you least want to be stuck with in an apocalypse? The Dama, the Croat, or Bruegel? Please tell us. We want to know. You can comment on YouTube or wherever you're listening or watching us. You can also go to our social media, which is on our website at screensinfocus.com. And you can also get to all of that in our show notes. You can also call us at 669-223-8542 and let us know your answer, the question of the day, or anything about this episode, or you want to give your thoughts on anything, because we would love to hear from you. And come back next week for episode 6. Oh my gosh, we're getting to the end. All right. With all of that, that's a wrap up of Dead City. I want to know, Sam, what are your TV and movie recommendations?
So this week I've started watching Hacks, which is on HBO. It has Jean Smart and it's hilarious. I'm on season 3 and I started watching it Monday. It's just they're only half an hour. They cover like dark. It's like, so essentially Jean Smart's character is a comedian from like the way back when, and she hires this writer and shenanigans and like ensue, and it's just really funny. And then as for movies, I recently watched Final Destination Bloodline. It's still in theaters. I grew up watching the Final Destination movies. I don't drive behind log trucks. I haven't for years. I won't go into there's a list of things I won't do because of like these movies. And this movie was like so good. Because there are 5 of them. They're all fun. I've seen them all. They're all like, how can we destroy the human body? Da 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 da. And this wasn't like that. It had more of a story and more people. I don't know. It was just really, really good. So I highly recommend that. If you like spooky stuff.
Yeah.
I watched it like this sometimes.
You have to. You have to.
You really do.
Yeah. All right. Great. Thank you. So I have a couple of recommendations. One is I just finished The Better Sister. It's on Prime. 8 episodes. Jessica Biel and Elizabeth Banks. It was so good. It was addicting. It's so good. It's about, I can't even give anything away. What I do want to say about it, they're sisters. They have a lot of dysfunction, and it turns out that one of the sisters' husband is dead at the first episode, and they have a son, an older son who's like, let's say 17, and it's like, who did it? Who killed the dad? And there's a lot of things happening at his work. There's things happening with the son. There's things happening with the wife, the sister. It has so many twists and turns. You cannot tell who did what. It is so good. Also, Kim Dickens is here. She plays one of the police detectives. But everybody has a story. Even she has a background. An FBI agent has a background because she plays a police officer, a detective. There's just so many characters. They all have secrets. It's so much fun. I love it. I highly recommend it. Please go watch it. I also watch Karate Kid Legends because I'm a huge Karate Kid and Cobra Kai fan. Love it, love it, love it. I'm just all there for it. It did not get the best of reviews through critics because it's the same kind of story and it's formulaic. But even with all that, I absolutely loved it because it was feel good. It's underdog. It felt nostalgic. I love Ben Wang, who plays the new character. He is a young kid who goes from Beijing to New York and meets a girl and her dad. And the dad is Joshua Jackson, who used to be a boxer and owes money to loan sharks. Anyway, it goes all from there. But he gets bullied at school, just like, Daniel LaRusso did in the original. And so it's just how he calls upon Jackie Chan is in it. Ralph Macchio is in it. They come in to support him. And it's just a good, feel-good, family-type movie. And so I recommend it if you're just looking for something just to feel good about. So I thought it was great. All right. That's what we have for you this week. Thank you, Sam, for joining me today. I appreciate you.
Thanks for always having me.
Of course, always. All right, friends, thank you for joining us today. We are grateful you joined us. We hope we said something that resonated with you, gave you a chuckle, some happiness, some positivity, or inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe to Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com, and please share this podcast with a friend. We would love that. You can find all of the information in our show notes. Remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.